going to be doing a painting. I tried to have a video for tonight, and you will see it tomorrow. It is still uploading. It was supposed to be a very simple video. Yeah, it didn't turn out that way. So you will see that tomorrow. I even got my husband in on it, and he was throwing some cuss words around, let me tell you. Yeah, so that's going to be tomorrow. So tonight, I was like, oh man, I spent all day working on that, so I didn't have time to like create another project. So I'm like, well, hey Terry, welcome. I figured I will paint something. So, and of course, I wanted to bring down, oh, it was a photo, it's a painting I did when I very first started. And it was an underwater sea turtle scene. So I wanted to bring the picture down so I had like a reference, and I forgot it. So we're just gonna wing it, guys. Because, you know, that's kind of what I do. So I pulled out a bunch of colors because I do want to have some coral and stuff in the bottom, but I want to get this like all painted probably up to here. And then I'll start throwing like some of the ground color in. I'll see how it looks as I'm going. So I know what I did wrong on my very first painting when I first started is I just made this kind of light to darker, but I didn't have like an actual like light source. So I'm going to try and create that this time, guys. I don't know if I'm going to pull it off, but we're going to try. So I'm going to go in with my 50 filbert brush. This is good when you have like a big space that you're trying to get covered. I am doing acrylics tonight. So those of you that, you know, have been, you know, wanting to dabble in paint, acrylics are definitely the easiest to kind of start with. So I just sprayed a little bit of water just to kind of get the canvas wet. And right now I have got two blues. I have got, this is phthalo blue, and this one is turquoise blue. So I'm going to start with the turquoise, and we're going to try to get some light source coming from here, and then I'm going to gradually build it darker. I'm going to actually throw some white on this plate as well. Just in case I need to lighten it up. All right. So I'm just picking up some of the turquoise, and I'm going to start getting some color up in this area. I'm going to wet my brush a little bit. So I just stuck it in, and I'm kind of just wiping it off, and then I'll just tap it. Because when your brush is wet, your paint definitely glides better. So I can already tell I'm definitely going to need some white up in here. So I'm just going to pick up some white, and we're going to start getting our little light section going here. So I just wiped my brush off a little bit, and I'm picking up more white because I want this to really show like the sun is coming through that. All right, and now I'm going to start going in with the darker blue. me lock this down. Is the angle all right, guys? Okay, good, Debbie. Thank you. I want to make sure that you guys can at least see what I'm doing. And as you can see, I'm trying to make it so it's almost like rounded. And then we're just gonna, and I'll probably add a little bit of like a black or a purple as we go down, because all right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh. So the deeper we go, the darker the water is going to get. So I'm gonna just kind of see what we, so I'm just lightly, because I don't like brush strokes in my painting. Some people do, but I really prefer not to. All right, so we're gonna come down to probably like right in here with our dark color. And then I'm gonna switch over. I'm gonna get these sides done. And if you guys have any questions along the way, put them in the comments, and if I don't see them right away, I will periodically go back and kind of check to see if I've got any comments. So guys, I am still recouping from Saturday. Oh my word, was that a long day, guys. Last year, I did that festival, but we were allowed to set up the night before, and they had people that were staying there overnight, so we could leave our tents and everything set up. And this year we had to set up in the morning. So I got up at 4, we were there for 6, and we were there. It was supposed to be until like 9:15. At 7:30, it slowed down, and I was like, okay, I am out of here. I'm so tired. I just couldn't even, and it was so hot. It wasn't supposed to be a humid day, but it turned out to be very humid. So yeah, that was just miserable. All right, so I rinsed that brush off, and let me see. I'm gonna go in now with, let me see. I'm gonna try this raw sienna as kind of like a ground color. I'll probably end up bringing the blue into it after, but I wanna, and I'll put the two. I'll put some dark burnt umber as well. So I'm gonna try to keep my colors that I use like to the side. So if anybody wanted to try to recreate this and wanted the colors, then I could list them for you. You just have to let me know. I haven't been listing my paints on my paintings just because I'm not sure how many people, you know, are interested. So, all right, so I just kind of brought that up into that blue and with some of the dark and the light on my brush, which is making it turn kind of green. which is fine because we're going to throw some white into this here in a minute. I just want to get like something in the ground. All right, let me wet this brush just a smidge. But yeah, so I did have a really good day. I sold out of all of my fairy paintings, so I will have to be creating some more of those. So those will be coming up soon. All right, now I'm going to go in with some white, and we're going to kind of get this all situated here. Because we're going to put some darker areas in as well, but I just want to get a little bit of lightness going because our light is going to be coming down, you know, kind of either like this or like this. I'd probably say like this. And once that dries, then I'm going to take a piece of chalk. Yes, Mary Beth, I ended up selling the black and white, the last black and white one that I did, which was like the just the trees and the silhouette type of thing, and my black and white fairy one. So those two did sell. Usually my black and white ones do sell at that event. I have a lot of people that really like the black and white ones. So yeah, I did sell those. I sold 6 paintings. 5 of them went to the same person, which I was blown away. So she bought 2 of the 16 by 20, which is this size, and then 2 of the 11 by 14, and then she bought the other a 16 by 20, but it was the vertical way. So yeah, I was blown away. Okay, so down here I'm going to go in with a different color blue, and we're going to kind of try to make it look a little bit deeper. I do want to go over that with a little bit more color. I'm not liking how that is streaky looking, so I'm just going to take some more blue. She's investing in the future. Yes, definitely. So her daughter wanted, she had found 2 of my older fairy paintings. So she wanted those, and then the son wanted, it was like a map of Maine, and I had done a lighthouse scene in the state of Maine, and she wanted the ones that she wanted. So she's like, all right, let me go think about this, figure out what I've got for money, and I'll be back. So I said, okay, you know, not a big deal. And then she came back and she bought 4, which plus a few other things on my table. And then she came back like an hour later and ended up buying 2 more. I was like, wow. So I definitely did really good with that. And I sold a lot of my resin stuff as well. I had brought the glow-in-the-dark dragons that I had done, or dinosaurs, whatever they are. And they didn't come out the greatest. You know, they had some like holes and stuff in them. But I brought them anyhow. I trimmed them all up so there was no sharp edges. And I charged $2 a piece. And I ended up putting them in a bag. I put 3 in one bag, you know, 2 bags of 3. And then I did 1 bag of 2. And I only have 1 bag of 3 left. So the kids definitely liked that. Okay, so I'm thinking this is getting a little bit better now. All right, let me just wash that off again. All right, so now I've got to mix up, I want to mix up a different blue. So I'm going to use some primary blue, and I'm going to mix it with some of the turquoise and see what we get for a color. So I'm just going to take some of the turquoise and some of this, and we're going to kind of make a different shade because I want these to look like they're further in the painting than up close. So you need to mix a different color than what you're using. And let me see. I know I'm going to have a mound here and a mound here, or, you know, 2 different heights. So pretty much like in the center area in the back is where I kind of want these. And I'm just making like little squiggly little lines so that it, you know, it's going to kind of look like underwater grass or something in the background. So I'm just rolling my brush in it. Just some different heights. Because the turtle's going to cover a lot of this, but, you know, I want something to look like there's something, you know, deep in the water. And I put just a smidge of white in there just to, and I'm going to add a little bit of water. We're going to thin that down just a smidge so that it will go up nice. And I'm barely even holding my brush. Yeah, so I always try and discount my items when I go to these fairs. So there's a lot of people that, you know, they come back like every year because they know that they're going to get a deal at the fair. Well, it's not really a fair, it's like a festival, but all right, I think so. I didn't have this in my first painting, so this is just, and then I'm gonna try to make the light beam coming down. So, and I'm not good at that yet. Yes, it is going to have a turtle in it. Let me just check here to see what I'm missing for comments. You love lighthouses? Yeah, me too. Hey, Jenny, I am trying to recreate the turtle painting that Mom made for you when I first started painting. So if you guys want, the video that's going to come up tomorrow, won't have it, but if you want the next one, I have a little video of my booth set up. If you want, I can put that at the end of my next video. So it would be the one coming out on Wednesday night. So if you want to see my booth set up, definitely put that in the comments and I'll add it to my next video, guys. So I do read all of my comments after my lives. It takes me until like the next day. For some reason, everybody else can continue to watch my live, but me. I have to wait till the next day. Okay, Terry, I can definitely do that. So I'm just putting a little bit of lamp black. And I like lamp black better than Mars black because Mars black is more of a gray. Oh, thanks, Jeannie. I love to paint. If I could get more people to watch it, I would just assume paint every day. Plus, my hands are so bad, guys. Where's my... Can you see that? My hands are so bad. This thumb, this one here is all broke out. My hands are a mess, guys. I really am going to have to invest in some sort of either the resiners purifying system or what. But I've been using cortisone cream as hand cream. I squirt it in my hand, and I think it is, Terry. So I put it in my hand and I rub it around like hand cream, and then I sit there. The other day I went to pick up my drink and my hands were so slippery, it spilled all over the place. I'm like, really? All right, so now I'm going to start on my sides because I'm trying to get better with doing my sides. And we are just going to put like some sort of like landscape into this painting. So what I did is I just picked up brown and black on my brush. I didn't blend them. I just kind of left them kind of mixed. So I'm going to actually leave that like that because underneath the water, you know, we have like the rocks will lift up and the fish can swim underneath. So I'm going to kind of leave that, which I didn't do in my first one. So, oh, hang on. No matter what I do, guys, I can't not make a mess. I just can't. My mother should have named me Messy, and then it would have... So I just stuck it in the black, and now I'm just going to stick it in the brown. And we're going to do something over here. I need more black. And then I'm just going to color that in. So that's why I wasn't too concerned with this line right in here, because I knew I was going to be putting things in front of it. But I do want to leave some ground in the front so I can try to get the light shadowing in. And I'm really mad that I forgot to grab that painting because I wanted to use that as my like reference point, but it's okay. We will make something work. Now there's going to be plants like coming out of here, but I do want to get a little bit of you know, like the sun would maybe be hitting some of these areas. So I'm just using that lighter brown color. All right. Let's see. And I'm just gonna try to get a little so I'm gonna just pick up the light and the dark brown and just try to just kind of giving a little bit of texture down in here so that it doesn't look all the same. All right, and then we're gonna have plants coming out of here anyways. All right, so let me. I'm just trying to give a little bit of kind of movement in this. So we have some darks and some lights. You know, so you need to have a few darker areas in order for that light to really like kind of show through. All right, so let me just wipe this off. And I'm just gonna, even though I still have those other colors in there. Oh, here we go. Messy, messy. I've got to glue this back on. All right, so I'm going to clean that just because I've got a ton of blue in there. All right, I'm just going to pick up some of the three colors, the dark brown, the light brown, and the white. And I'm just going to and again, not a lot, just enough to give that sand some sort of movement. All right, so we're gonna let that dry. And I'm gonna go back with that turquoise and blue color that I made. So again, I'm gonna take some of the blue and some of the turquoise, and we're just gonna make a different color. I'm gonna add some water, and that helps it flow a little bit better. And that's a little too light. We can't even see it. And just lightly, I'm just dragging my brush, whatever kind of comes off, because I'm going to go in with some color here in a little bit. Let's see. And the turquoise, just I was hoping to go in with just the turquoise to give it a little bit of extra color, but actually, hang on. I have got this, it's a bright aqua green. So let me just put a little bit of that in my dirty brush. So what I'm just basically taking my dirty brush and we'll see if that gives us another. Oh yeah. Because when you're trying to get depth in your painting, you need variations of color. And they don't have to be like, boom, all in your face. You know, they can be little bits of it. It's showing that there's something else in that water. which I didn't do in the first, my first go around at doing this. But I can never do the same paintings twice anyways. It never works out for me. Never. And I'm thinking most of this is going to be covered up, but I just, you know, just in case some of it shows, it's just going to have something else in there. And then I can always bring more stuff up after. All right, so I think I'm going to stick with that for that. So I'm going to take my chalk. I'm going to make sure that I have no wet paint on my hands. And hang on, I'm going to open my soda. I did remember to bring a soda down this time, guys. All right, let me check comments. Oh, you're heading out? Where you heading to? To be returned to somebody. I asked them on the chat, and I thought, told me they were a 90-day return. Oh, wow. That's a really good deal. Oh, cool. Well, have fun. Okay. Let me get my chalk here. And this is where I was hoping my picture was going to come in useful. Because now I have to try to remember what the sea turtle looks like. All right, so we are gonna, and the reason that I use chalk is because if you don't like it, you can wet your paper towel and you can take it off. And I'll probably show you because it'll probably take me a few tries. To get this. And let's see, the back legs are more like that. Let me just get a paper towel. So I just stick it in right in my dirty water. It doesn't matter. That's the one thing my daughter's still gonna learn, because I don't know if you can see how dirty that water is. I'll use that through this whole painting. She has to have clean water. She's still, you know, she's still learning. Let's see, I think I need this coming down just a smidge more. All right, so we're gonna bring that down, and this shell is gonna come up more like that. All right, and then we gotta have the little tail will show, but the other leg won't because it's on the other side. But this leg will. I think that looks better. And all right, I'm gonna put his other leg in just to, I can't tell what my angle is right at the moment. No, we're not going to put his other, we're not going to put his other leg. We'll just give him a little, just give him a little tail. Too big. So that's the one good thing with chalk, guys. You can, and if you need to, you can take a piece of paper and get that carbon paper in the white, put that, trace your image, and you know, if you're not sure of how to do it, I like to challenge myself and try and get it in there. Okay, so then I need to I'm just trying to get like the shell. All right, I think we're getting there. Excuse me. All right, let me find a filbert brush. So should I do him in browns and beiges, or should I do him in purples and blues? And on like on the shell and then have the legs be a different color. Because right now I've got to get the dark base in and then start lightening it up. So what do you guys think I should do? Oh, I would have been proud of you today, Jenny. You must have done something. And my turtle's probably going to grow a little bit as I start painting him. All right, I'm going to go in with the burnt umber. We're going to start with just a darker brown. I can always add blues and purples over the top if I need to. All right, so, and you can go right over your chalk, and if you don't get all of your chalk, don't worry about it because we can wipe it off after. So basically, I want to get him kind of painted in. I'm gonna make I think I'm gonna do the shell in a darker color. So I'll get his flippers all so I'm gonna leave that chalk for now, and see how it looks as we progress. Let me let's see. I'm going to just take a little bit of black into that brown and make that brown a little bit darker. I still want it to be brown, but I need it to be a darker color. So let's try that. Yeah. Nope, not even got a little bit of blue in it, which is fine. So I definitely want this area in here to be darker. All right, so we're just going to color him in. Did you sell your painting, Jen? Just mixing a little bit more. I'm actually even adding a little bit of blue to it. And then we're just going to see a little bit of the tail. I don't know if I have my, I think I can't show that part. Yeah, that's what was tossing me here. Because we wouldn't see that shoulder, we'd just see the bottom of the fin. Okay. I fixed it. Something was not right. Okay, wash this off. Working on it is just a process. Okay, so now we've got to lighten up the fins a little bit so that when we put our darker spots in, they will show. Okay, I'm liking that. And that's the one good thing with acrylic painting is you can work on one area and let another area dry. Whereas in oil, you don't have that option. You literally would, you know, have to wait days for it to dry. And because I use a light amount of paint, it was able to dry and I was able to get that off. All right, so let's get his little heady in here. Now I'm going to take a little liner brush and put some darkness, like the wrinkles. So I'm just using brown and black. And let me see. I don't know how I got white on there. That's not what I wanted. And it's going to need one nostril. Okay. And I'm just going to take that brown mixture. So I rinsed my brush off, and now I'm just going to take that little bit so it's kind of like an eraser, as long as you do it right when you do it. All right, so that's looking good. Let's see, which brush do I want to use? Let's try this one, because now we're going to want the darker spots before we start going on to the shell. So I'm going to do some black, some brown, just to, you know, kind of mix it up here a little bit. gonna mix up a lighter brown, a different shade of brown. Okay. So I'm thinking that's looking okay. Now we've got to get our little I'm just I picked up a little black and a little brown. Now you guys got to remember, I don't have a picture I'm even looking at here. This is just from my little old lady brain. Just blend that in. Get that chalk off there. Oop. Crap on a cracker. There we go. So is it looking pretty okay right now? Sometimes I just need the picture to kind of go by. I think I need the picture more like for my angles. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so we're going to take... Let's take some of this burnt sienna, which is a reddish brown. And we will... let's see. So this is not going to be a realistic one, but, you know, I'm more of an impressionistic painter anyways. And if it doesn't look good, I'll just paint over it. Not a biggie. Okay, I think that's getting there. It's getting there. And let's see. All right, we're gonna take this brown and mix it with that red that I just put on. And let's just kind of see what that looks like. All right, I'm gonna have to use 2 brushes here. All right, I'm gonna rinse that skinny one off, and we're gonna go back to this filbert brush because I think I can control it better. And I'm just basically putting a little bit on the tip. I don't even know if you can see that. Nope, I don't like that. So we're gonna go back in with some dark. Just trying to get another shade underneath. So we can start lightening like the centers of these. And then I can always go over those with like the lighter brown after. I know you guys probably can't even see the color that I'm putting, but I can see it. That's just going to help us get some shadows going. Definitely got to darken this up though. So I'm just lifting some of that red off. So it went a little much. And all right. Oops. So now I'm going to go in with just the lighter. Let me just start. Yeah, so this, when you're doing something like this, these definitely are a little bit more, you know, time intensive, but they definitely are worth it in the long run. And I just, in the pictures that I remember seeing, their little circle thingies that I'm doing right now are not like a solid color. So that's kind of why I went in with a couple of different colors. Hopefully. All right. Now I want to go in with just some black, and we're going to get this okay. So I'm just mixing that light brown and some white. And then I'm just going to go over our little shell lines here. Because the top is going to be lighter, because that's where the light is hitting from this top of this water. So this top area is definitely going to be a little bit more highlighted than the bottom. I'm just kind of trying to cover the, that reddish kind of color. I don't know. I didn't like it. And this is definitely helping it pop, I think, more. So I know I probably got my angle wrong on this, but I don't have a reference to go by. Okay, so I'm thinking he's standing out now. Just giving him a little, just a little variation in colors here. Well, we're gonna have to put a fish there. Like I barely have any paint in my brush. I'm just kind of trying to give that just a little bit more depth. All right, now I'm just gonna define this a little bit. All right, almost done the turtle. All right, what do you think, guys? All right, so I'm gonna put a few fish in, and then we're gonna do we'll do some like kind of colorful coral sticking out here. And then I'll put some color in there. And these ones here, I'm not going to put much detail in. I just want them to be like little, just so there's a few something's going on here. Okay. I'm gonna get some yellow. Well, let me get a different plate here. My plate is getting full. Just a little something, something. All right, so we will give it a little eye. Give the turtle an eye. Okay. Not too bad. All right, so now I got to get some, I've already got some yellow out. I'm going to get some quinacridone magenta, some orange. I've got yellow. Let's do some purple, dioxazine purple. And let's do a bright aqua green too. Just, we'll put it on here. If we use it, we use it. If we don't, we don't. And I'm going to put a squirt of white so that I can lighten some of these. All right. Now, I need something a little bit thicker for some of these. All right, we're gonna wet our brush and let's see, I'm gonna start with the purple. And let's see, we're gonna Now, I have never been under the ocean, so I don't know if, you know, these are going to grow out from the rocks, but in my world, they are going to. Just because that's where I want them to be. They'd be living right there. And let's see. I'm going to have... Let's see. So these will show up more once I start adding a little bit of white in there. All right, so I'm gonna... So while that's still wet, I'm just going in with a little bit of white. And we're just kind of getting that, just that little bit of something in there. So it stands out. You can see, you know, what it's supposed to be. Okay. Now I'm going to go with some orange. And we're just going to, let's see, where are we going to go? Right here. Don't ask me what these are called. I have not a clue. Thank you, Mary Beth. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. So because the sides are so dark, that's why you want that extra little bit of, you know, lightness. Let's see, we'll put one of these just coming off here. Yeah, so I was really hoping that I could have showed you my, like the first one, but I didn't bring it down with me. Let's see. Let's do some pink. And then I'm going to put some grass once I get, you know, some of these placed. Okay. Let's do some yellow. Let's see. I can't even remember what other coral shapes there were, so I'm just trying to lighten some of these. All right, so let's get some, let's see. All right, so we've got a variation of color in here. They're not quite as vibrant as I wanted to. Because acrylic dries darker, so you have to just have to kind of go over them. Okay. Now, so I've got to add some greenery. So I'm going to do the deep green. Oh, as I get green everywhere. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, so I definitely want a really, really thin liner brush. So I'm going to use this one here. All right, let me just grab a baby wipe here. I don't usually get this dirty when I acrylic painting, but I guess tonight I am. I get dirty, but not usually, not this dirty. All right. I'm going to wet my brush, and I'm going to put it in my green, and we're going to really water that down. And then I roll my brush, and that's going to bring it to a nice point. And we're just slowly, I'm going to thin that more. And it doesn't hurt to go right over some of your your things in your painting, because that's just gonna you know, help push them back. Just want a little bit more something at the edges here. More water. And I'm gonna put a little bit of that turquoise in there now, just to give another shade of green. More water. All right. So I'm gonna do a couple of rocks. And so I'm using the red and the black. Black on one side, that reddish brown on the other. Now I got blues and greens, don't matter. And I think I'll pick up some of the dark blue and some of that lighter color. I love making rocks. Okay, so I think we get enough rocks in there. Now what I want to do is I want to take my big liner brush again, wash it out really, really well. Now I'm going to take the white, and I'm going to water that down with my dirty water. Okay, so now we're just going to This is where the light is going to be reflecting on the ground. So there's no, it's no rhyme or reason, just getting like some movement in that sand. All right. We're almost done, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me. All right, now this part is the scary part. Scary, scary, scary. So what I want to do is, this is that lighter spot, right? I'm going to put a little bit more lightness up there first. All right, let me just find a... All right, so that's showing like the top of that water is light. I'm going to wash this brush. I'm going to dry that for a second. All right. Let me grab another plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my blue paint and I'm going to thin it down with water, like minutely. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush it on top of this so it will make it look like this is in the water. And this is like what they call glazing. And so I've got my water. And I'm watering that down. And then I'm going to wipe this brush off. And I'm just going to lightly I might have to get some clean water. I might have to. So I'm just tapping the sides. I don't want a ton, but I want to put all this back into the water. And you just start with a little bit until you find that consistency that, you know, will glaze over it and not leave like a major trail type of thing. So this is just kind of setting that back into the water. I'm just going to mist that lightly, and I'm just going to brush that like that. All right. I'm going to get some clean water for, hang on one second here. I gotta grab my bottle of water. For my white, only because I want my white to stay white. I don't want that to be dirtied. So I'm just using a little bit. So that's about the only time that like I'll switch my water, is when I'm trying to get like a solid color. You know, I just want that white, and I don't want it tainted. I mean, a little bit of blue is one thing. Okay. Now this is the part that I suck at, guys. I'm not gonna lie. So you're just gonna it's too much. All right. To me, that line was too thick, so I just rinsed my brush with it being wet, and I'm just trying to break up that thickness right up there. And obviously, the further you go out, the less you're going to see. So yeah, that is our sea turtle painting. What do you guys think? So that is up close. I mean, I could sit here for hours putting shells and more stuff in the ground and more fish and, you know, whatever. But for the purpose of the video, I'm going to call this one done. I will sign it. And let me sign it in blue. Thanks, guys. So that is our little sea turtle, guys. So if anybody wants this, it will be for sale. I will put it on my website. It's $75, but it will be listed for $100 because everything on my site, on my website, is free shipping. So that's the $100 would include the shipping. These are like $26 to $32 to ship. So let me just check my comments here. Thanks, guys. You feel like you're scuba diving. Oh, Rachel, you just realized that I was live? Welcome, everybody. All righty, guys. So yeah, so because my video did not upload, I decided to go and do a live tonight. But the only thing that I could do on short notice and be able to finish was a painting. So you got me painting, but that's where I really love doing anyhow. So yeah, but there will be a video tomorrow night. I'm so happy and surprised when you popped up and I seen you painting. Oh yeah, because I think you had missed my last painting when I did the black and white one. So yeah, but there will be a video tomorrow. It's long because we had an issue and I had to get my husband involved, and he was saying a whole bunch of cuss words, and he's like, this isn't right. They shouldn't make these. I said, welcome to my crafting world. So yeah, he was frustrated, but we got it in the end. Yeah, we did get it in the end. So thank God. So there is a video. It just uploaded, but it's going to be for tomorrow. So there will be something for tomorrow. Alrighty, guys. I am going to go ahead and get my mess cleaned up and go and wash up and relax a little bit. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. Bye. Oh, hang on. There we go. I have to remember. Thanks, Jeannie. I have to remember when I'm sharing it to my TV that I have to disconnect that before I try to X out or it won't let me hang up. Alrighty, guys. Bye.